Good morning, Fabio.
Good morning, buongiorno.
What are you having for breakfast?
Well, I'm having this avocado sandwich or toast, or how we call it in English, bruschetta, with a couple eggs. Well, looks pretty good.
I'm having eggs New Yorker with salmon, and it's delicious.
Wow, well, I needed something that reminded me of home, so...
Hey, you were telling me that you guys had a very different attitude towards breakfast.
So we don't have a big breakfast, and everything is centered around the espresso. It's much smaller than any espresso that you can get in New York.
Really?
It's like 1 centimeter, something like that, and you have that in few seconds, even in one single shot.
Oh, is it true that there were no seats, you down it and then you leave?
Yeah, we usually have breakfast standing at the bar. And well, the concept of bar is kind of different in Italy.
Okay.
Bar is a place where you get your espresso, you get some croissant, standing, perhaps you get an aperitivo. But most of these things you do standing. So you got to...
Americans like to sit.
Yeah. The two ingredients that you have to prepare pasta are just olive oil and pasta, and let's say some salt. If you have these three ingredients, you can make a great pasta. We don't have pasta alfredo in no restaurant in Italy, so we are not used to use cream in pasta except for some very specific recipes. But we use olive oil, and a key trick for our pasta is using the starch that you have in the cooking water to saute the pasta in a pan with your sauce. So if you put the starch from the water, which is the white thing that you see as you start boiling pasta, you cook your pasta for, let's say, 3 minutes less than the suggested cooking time.
3 minutes less.
3 minutes less, then you put the pasta in your sauce, you keep cooking in your pan, and you keep putting some cooking pasta, and the starch creates this creamy, woodsy texture without using any milk or cream at all.
What a secret.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I was one of those nerds that would love to program their computers. I had a Commodore 64 back in the days. So when I was 17, I started working as a software developer. And then the most natural path for me would be to go to university and study as a software engineer, and that's what I did. But by the time I got my master's degree in software engineering and automation, I decided it was time to retire.
As soon as you graduate, you retired.
Yeah, I always say that the very day I graduated, I retired from being an engineer because I always loved arts, visual arts, and creativity. So I decided I would use technology as a tool for my creativity. And then after a few years, I started my company in Italy, a creative agency.
Yes.
And I worked as a creative director, but always being aware of technology. So that's been one of my key selling points. So being a creative guy that knew the tools. Oh, that's cool. Well, I'd say artist as a first word, because I see myself as an artist, yeah, because I love creating. But at the same time, I am an engineer because I am pretty good with mathematics, tool technologies, and that's
awesome.
That supports my...
That's awesome. Artist and engineer.
My art. And then I would say creative. Yeah, because I love to create new stuff out of existing things, thinking outside of the box. And I have to use crazy as one of the 5 words, because I'm crazy, and I think that I'm creative in a crazy way, because I always come up with solutions that other people would say, oh, wow, I did not think about that. And well, I think I'll use 4 rather than 5.
Okay.
And so, yeah. Well, I have a plan, I have a project, and it's about bringing cooking and creativity literally in the same page. And I say page because I'm planning to work on a book, and the idea for the book is that every recipe, I'm not just thinking about Italian recipes, but every recipe has a hidden message that you can apply in your life, in your business. We talked before about using the starch in the cooking water. Isn't that a hidden thing that you have in a recipe? It's about following the recipe even if you don't know the chemistry that's happening when you put your starch in your cooking pan. So that's the idea that I have, and I'm going to spread the message using a YouTube channel.
Tell me the name of your channel.
Well, the name that I love the most now is The Man with a Pan.
The Man with a Pan.
Yeah. Oh wow. I love a lot of things about New York City, but probably the thing I love the most is how people are open to listen to your crazy ideas and how they always say, how can I help you with your idea? That's great. That's very different from Italy.
Through one of my New York Real guests, Dorie Clark, and Dorie brought us together, and we both learned from her recognized expert course, and the business model intensive course.
Yes, and I think that that course gave me a kind of different perspective about having a plan, because sometimes as artists we love to, hang out and wait for inspiration.
Be inspired, improvise.
What are you doing today? I'm just waiting for inspiration. And tomorrow, just waiting for inspiration. While Dorie taught me the importance of having a plan. A plan that would help you scaling up, building your following. And that's very important. Even if you are just an artist, it is very important to stick to your plan and measure things, experiment with different directions, see what is working and what is not. Red, because it's the color of the heart, and it's powerful, it's strong, it's creative. I think it's color of fire, energy, creativity.
It's a delicious breakfast. Talking about food and eating. Thank you for coming to Williamsburg, Brooklyn.
Thank you. It's a great place, and I'll see you in Italy.
I'll see you there.
Ciao. Just put a disclaimer that my English is Italian English, so people will not complain.